Good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael. This is Friday. We've been off for a couple of days. We had another cruise adventure this morning. So we'll keep things moving. Our word of the day is Fain. Fain, pleased or willing under the circumstances, compelled by circumstances, obliged. I'm fain to continue the online book club I started in 2020 because it keeps me in touch with friends across the country. So that's our word of the day, fain. Let's move on to our heat map. It's early, I know, but we'll see where things are moving. Apple is up big today. Surprised on their earning, up 6.58%. Based on their early action before earnings, you could have put in a call and you would have been correct. Call option. Microsoft is up nearly 2%. BITI is up close to 3%. And Meta is up 2.5%. And Amazon is up 1.44%. So there, what is down? Some of the healthcare is down. Energy is down a little bit. Financials are a mixed bag. So today, that is the labor jobs report came in weaker than anticipated. So the market is rallying on that in hopes of an interest rate cut. So let's share our screen. Now, if you spent a lifetime building up your savings, 401k and a job, and you don't want to see that meltdown like happened in 2008, where the market went down 54%. Yes, that happened when that's what happens when the interest rates got cut back in 2007, 2008. Everything just went in a big retreat. So if you roll your money into an annuity, you don't have to worry about it. It still can put it into the market without any risk of loss. Goes up the stairs, go up the stairs, and go up the stair. And annuity beats index investing by about 5% per year. And some of the annuities are paying between 30 and 45% bonuses. So if you want to learn more about that, feel free to get in touch with me. Go to our screen, share our charts, and bring up what's actually happening in the market right now. I cannot at the moment find the chart. I'm not sure why it's not responding. We're going to pause this for a second so we can get our chart functioning again. Oh, we are back. We're going to share our screen. We had a big hiccup. Took a little bit of issue to get Microsoft functioning again, but here we are. Here's the dollar index. The dollar is falling quite a bit, fell to its 200-day moving average, actually below and now it is bouncing, trying to get back above it. Silver, amazing. Silver hasn't moved. It's pulling back a little bit. Gold sold off and is trying to bounce back. Our copper miner gapped up and is on the low for the day. Southern Copper is actually bouncing above its 10-day. Copper index, it bounced to get back to its 10-day moving average. FCX bouncing off of this 20-day, getting looks like it's pretty close to its 10-day moving average. Vale sold off, but it's just fell to its 50-day moving average, trying to hold there. BHP is up slightly. See if it can continue on the bottoming base. And Real is gapping up 0.5%. Ethereum is gapping up today. It's up nearly 3%. And Bitcoin is up as well. So as we can see, Bitcoin has filled a number of gaps over here, and now it's produced another gap. So it fell to right here, filled this gap right over here, filled this gap and this gap. And now it's got a gap here, and we'll see if it can fill this gap. Let me see if I can bring up on the charts. See if I have a Bitcoin chart up here from Yahoo. It's definitely bouncing today. Everything is working a little slower on the computer today for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we'll just kind of move on. So let's move on. We closed out our short 2 days ago. We got back into MicroStrategy. We had sold it, and we got in pretty close to the same price we sold it, but it got a gap up today. So it's up. It was up at one point $125 this morning. It's pulling back a little bit, but we'll see if that can continue going or if Bitcoin's going to stall. Some people have put out a price at 62,500. So we'll just kind of keep our eyes peeled on that. Let's take a look at the bonds. The bonds are falling today. Bond yields are falling. Prices of the bonds are rising. So it fell about 1%, fell a lot more at the open. It's fighting back to get to its 20-day moving average. And now it seems like everything is slowed down again. Not sure if this is because of the Norton program, but see, it's back. Take a look at our 20-year. 20-year is down a little over 1%, and it's fighting back to get to its 200-day moving average. So we'll see if this cup with a handle means that interest rates are going to rise or if they're going to fall here. So it's a look there. Take a look at VIX. The VIX is falling. Will it fall enough to fill this gap down here? That is the question. It is down 4.5% today. S&P 500 is gapping up 0.77%. The equal weight is not up as much, up 0.4%. The NASDAQ is gapping up as well, up 1.5%. It's kind of butting its head at the 50-day moving average. And take a look at the equal weight. It's gapping up as well, up 0.81%. Want to see these equal weights broaden out. It's healthy for the market. Got a gap up, and then coming back down as the bond yields are rising. The small cap index is coming down. Dow Jones gapped up and got returned away from its 50-day moving average. But let's move on to what's happening in earnings today. So Booking is in the news. Quarter one EPS $20.39 versus $14.06. Got a gap up. It's lower on the low right now, up 5% for the day. DraftKings. Quarter one EPS loss 30 cents versus estimate of 28 cents. Tried to move higher and is in the lower quadrant, up 0.28%. Expedia. Quarter one adjusted EPS 21 cents versus estimate loss of 24 cents. And this did not meet what people were expecting, I guess. Revenues were 2.9 billion versus estimate of 2.81. Gross bookings rose 3% year over year. So that's the story there. Lower and Decor up slightly, up 0.17%. Earnings came in at 46 cents versus 44. Merco Libre, quarter one EPS $6.78 versus $6.03. And people like this. It's up over 10% today. Look at that volume yesterday. Kind of give you a harbinger of what may happen today. Earnings were up 71% year over year. Quarter. Monster Beverage. Quarter one EPS 42 cents versus 43 cents. You would think that wouldn't do well, but it is actually looks maybe a little bit of a relief rally, up nearly 2% on the day. Texas Roadhouse Quarter one EPS $1.69 versus estimate of $1.63. So the labor market hiring pulled back with $175,000 added. The unemployment rate rose to 3.9%. So that's what the market is kind of cheering today. On to energy, industrials, and materials. The apple of oil, EOG Resources, quarter one EPS $2.82 versus estimate $2.70. It's falling on that. So that's news there. On to Huntsman. A little slowdown in our internet connection again. I'm not sure. Huntsman, looks like we had a gap up, pull back, and it's holding right at the 200-day moving average, up 2.8%. Earning loss of 6 cents, in line with consensus of revenues 1.47 billion versus estimate of 1.47 billion. Ingersoll Rand, quarter one EPS 78 cents versus estimate 69 cents, and still the stock falls 6.63%. Maztec, quarter one adjusted EPS loss 13 cents versus estimate 48 cents, and it gaps up strongly on that news, up 13.5%, pulling back a little bit. U.S. Steel, adjusted EPS 82 cents, in line with revenues of 4.16 billion versus 4.21, and it's falling slightly, 0.65%. Union Pacific, upgraded to buy from hold at Stifel and raised to $267 from $248. It gapped up and now is on the low of the gap, up 1% for the day. Block Square, quarter one adjusted EPS 85 cents versus 72 cents. Tried to move higher and then it sold off, filling the gap, most of the gap here. Coinbase, revenues of 1.59 versus 1.32. Not sure why the rest, there we go. It has fallen most of the day, down 0.433%. Digital Realty, quarter one FFO 1.67 versus estimate of 1.63, gapping up near the low of the day. Rocket Company, quarter one adjusted EPS 4 cents versus 1 cent estimate, and is moving up 6% on that news. Open Door have files mixed shelf, security shelf after results and guidance, and it gapped up and is on the low for the day. Amgen shares jump after saying it is working on 2 weight loss drugs, Maritide, which is in a mid-stage testing for weight loss in adults with or without obesity, and wrapped a phase 1 study of its other obesity drug, a small molecule medicine known as AMG 786. Adjusted EPS $3.96 versus $3.94, and it is gapping up strong on the news of its work on that drug. DaVita, quarter one EPS $2.38 versus $1.95, tried to move higher and break out, and got a big sell-off right after that. Logic, quarter two EPS $1.03 versus 98 cents, tried to move higher and then sold off as well, down is actually up 0.56 for the day. Illumina, quarter one EPS 9 cents versus 4 cents. And it tried to move higher and it sold off as well. Tandem Diabetes, quarter one EPS lost 65 cents versus estimate of 76 cents. And that is rocketing. It's up strong, up over 21% on that news. Trupanion, quarter one EPS lost 16 cents versus estimate 20 cents. And it tried to move higher and is selling off. Onto technology, media, and telecom. Apple authorized additional 110 billion for share repurchases. Quarter two EPS $1.53 versus estimate of $1.50 on better revenues. Fell 4.3% year over year. Stock is surging to 184.62. Cloudflare. Quarter one EPS 16 cents versus estimate of 13 cents, and it is falling, down 17.25%. We'll just take a look at Fastly. I believe they compete with one another. They announced yesterday, and their stock just cratered as well. Went from 1267 to around 850. Get back to where we were. Fortinet, quarter one EPS 43 cents versus estimate 38 cents. It is selling off, down nearly 8%. GoDaddy, quarter one EPS $2.76 on revenues of a 1.11 billion. And it tried to move higher and selling off about 1%. Live Nation, quarter one EPS loss 53 cents versus estimate of 19 cents, is gapping up on that news, up nearly 10%. Motorola Solutions, quarter one adjusted EPS $2.81 versus estimate $2.53, and that's gapping up a little over 5%. And that's our news for the day. So let's jump to, we're going to skip the 3% today. Go to the 5% with a 100% increase in volume. Yeah, there is 47 items. Can you believe it? I'm not going to go through all of these. We're just going to skip along. Talem Global Education was up big yesterday. Earnings came in at 33% increase, and it is jumping up about 15%. We looked at Amgen, we looked at Apple, we got Arcosa, AudioEye. Take a look at BJ's Restaurants. They're up about 10%, 113% increase in earnings from year over year quarter. I believe we looked at bookings. Bright Horizons, gapping up 6.46%. Castle Biosciences is up, well, close to 12%. Earnings came in at 9 cents versus negative 9 cents versus negative $1.10 last year. Got a few, looks like a few biotech in here. CG Oncology, recent IPO looks like it's trying to break out here. Didn't quite get a double bottom, but it is moving up strong. Look at Clearfield, gapping up 14%. Look at that. Volume just keeps on growing. Came in at negative 40 cents versus 67 cents profit last year, but still it's up 14.45%. Chart Industries, engineered equipment for production storage. It's bouncing off of its 50-day moving average. We got Fox Factory, got Digital Realty Trust, gapping up 5.52%. Fox Factory, trying to get a bottom base, so it's gapping up. Earnings are down 76%. We're just going to skip ahead here. We got number of Liberty, Live Nation we saw before, Maztec we talked about, Mercado Libre, got Motive Care, looks like it's working on a bottoming base as well. NextEra Energy Partners, up of 5.85%. SPX Technology, look at that move, up 7%. Earnings are up 34%. In the oil sector, Tidewater got a pretty strong move. Earnings up 287%. Relative strength rises to 96. Their shares are jumping almost 13% today. Twist Bioscience. So they have a DNA synthesis platform to industrialize the engineering of biology. Pulled back quite a bit. Earnings came in at negative 79 cents, which was an increase from negative $1.04 last time. It is up almost 27% on the day. Look at Wolfspeed. It's up nearly 5%, but it still looks in negative chart position. So it still has a lot of work to do. XPO in the shipping area had a gap up over here, and then it has been trending lower. Gaps up today, up 6%. And then we'll just jump to see what's up 10%, 200% increase in volume. Some of the same characters are in this one. Motive Care. Didn't look at Paylocity earlier. Paylocity is jumping 16.44%. Cloud provider of payroll. And we've looked at all the other ones previously. So that's kind of the story. Just take a look at this. Qualcomm we put on yesterday. On its earnings gap, it's pulling back slightly today, down 0.67%. We added to NVIDIA. Now back above the 50-day moving average, pull back here on super microcomputer and AMD's earnings. but it is, looks like it's gapping up today, up 2.5%. Got out of ELF, we got back into ELF. We'll just see, and we got an option at 157 to buy 200 more shares of ELF if it stays above this area. So we'll just kind of, earnings aren't for another 20 days. We still like this company for. It's up 1.3%. It was up to 60 and then has pulled back a little today. Toast is pulling back. Tried to move higher. I think it was on the Square earnings and pulled back. Their earnings are in 4 days. Celsius put on an option at 71. So up about 2% today. Put on this one yesterday, FTAI, and I believe one. Yes, we put on Howmet yesterday. Howmet jumped and it's up another little over 1%. And then in the same area, we put on a spread trade. I believe it's 165 to 170. And it is moving on up today, up another %. So we'll see if this can get up to the breakout. Maybe it'll pull up here, have a little bit of a pullback, and then possibly break out. So earnings aren't for a while. Let me just take a look what else we got going here. See how our lift option, lift is gapping up today. We have a $20 covered call on this. Its earnings are in 4 days. So kind of see where that takes us. See what else we got on in our regular account. We put on AAPL yesterday, pulling back a little bit, just to kind of see where that goes. Kava, Mediterranean Foods, on all the earnings that are out there, Texas Roadhouse, BJ's Restaurants, etc. It is gapping up today, up 4.4%. We still have this position in RTX. Tried to jump up here, pulled back, and it's just trading in a really tight range here. So that's our show for today. This has been Mornings with Michael. For information and educational purposes only. Check in this weekend on Sunday. We're going to have our weekend update over where some things in the market where we think things may move to. And that is our show. We hope everybody has a great weekend. Have a great day. Go out there, keep working on your goals and your activities. Keep surprising everybody around you.